Welcome to Fight News Now. My name is John Pollock, and for the next 30 minutes, we are getting you caught up on the world of mixed martial arts. On today's program, we preview a loaded UFC 178 card as Dominick Cruz will chat with us about his return after 3 years away from action. Ken Shamrock will join us. We'll also hear from Gokhan Saki and rising UFC talent Mich Gallo. As always, John Ramdeen and Robin Black are set for 3 rounds. Plus, Robin is doing double duty as he goes to the Fan Expo on the shift. But we start off with this week's newsmakers. UFC 178 is one of the more intriguing pay-per-views of the year, despite losing its original main event with Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier. The new main event sees flyweight champion Demetrious Johnson attempt to make the 5th defense of his flyweight championship against challenger Chris Cariaso, who finds himself a giant underdog going into his first UFC main event this Saturday night.
Demetrious Johnson has had an uphill battle for his entire career. For years, he fought bigger men at 135 pounds and managed to succeed, taking out bantamweight elites Kid Yamamoto and Miguel Torres, on his way to earning a title shot. Once he was selected for the inaugural UFC flyweight tournament, he overcame the #1 flyweight in the world at the time, Ian McCall, even though it took him a couple of tries. In the final, he outlasted tournament favorite Joseph Benavidez to become the first ever flyweight champion. Even the strap around his waist wasn't enough to silence the critics. Some said he's boring, some said he's not a finisher, and even more said he's got no power. At UFC on Fox 6, he did his best to shake the boring label, putting on a fight of the night with John Dodson that saw him dropped early in the fight.
Big punch! He's hurt!
In his next bout, after dominating John Moraga for 4.5 rounds, DJ locked in an armbar to finish the fight.
Looking for it here. He's got it, Mike. That's it. It's all over.
So much for not finishing. And in his rematch with Benavidez, he sent the Team Alpha Male student crashing to the mat just 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the first round. In a perfect world, those 3 wins would have silenced the critics and made Johnson an instant fan favorite. On Saturday night, he'll face off against Chris Cariaso, who earned his title shot more through good timing than any significant wins. If Kamikaze manages to dethrone the champion, he'll follow in the footsteps of guys like Matt Serra and TJ Dillashaw, who both scored huge upset wins in fights they probably shouldn't have been in. Can Mighty Mouse win and finally gain some traction with the fans? Or will Cariaso score another upset in a year full of them?
Perhaps the most anticipated fight this Saturday belongs to lightweights Donald Cerrone and the debuting Eddie Alvarez, who enters the octagon for the first time after 28 pro bouts. These two are among the most exciting fighters in the world, and this bout carries heavy title ramifications for the victor, as both are eyeing the winner of Anthony Pettis and Gilbert Melendez as we take a look at Saturday's fight.
Well, McGregor versus Poirier has been dubbed the people's main event. For hardcore fans, Donald Cerrone versus Eddie Alvarez is a dream come true. Cowboy has been on a tear lately, scoring 3 finishes already in 2014.
We'll take a... Oh, that's it! It's over! Oh, he knocked him down with a jab! Oh, Miles is in trouble! Takes his back. Donald's got it ready to finish it right here! He's got it! Oh, huge shot by Cerrone! Donald Cerrone does it again!
Alvarez, on the other hand, has been far less busy. The Black Zillion's Bellator career had 2 sides. Inside the ring, Alvarez couldn't have served the company better, putting in a Fight of the Year candidate while dropping the lightweight title to Michael Chandler.
Oh, another big right hand! He's hurt! He's hurt badly!
And then returning to reclaim the title 2 years later in another classic.
A phenomenal 25 minutes in the Bellator cage.
However, outside the ring, a contract dispute put Alvarez on the shelf for a year and soured his relationship with the promotion. When Scott Coker took the reins of Bellator, he finally gave Alvarez his walking papers. Can Alvarez take out Cerrone in his promotional debut? Or will Cowboy ride off into the sunset with another bonus check?
This Saturday will mark the return of Dominick Cruz to action. The former bantamweight champion last fought in October of 2011, interestingly enough, against Demetrious Johnson when both fought at 135 pounds. Multiple setbacks from knee surgeries has kept Cruz grounded, but on Saturday night, the Alliance member looks to storm back as he meets Takeya Mizugaki.
I like every matchup. I believe I'm the best in the world, so I'm going to adjust according to who I'm fighting. You know, every guy has their own style, their own habits. I adjust to their habits and make them adjust to me. As silly as that sounds, you just kind of have to know what their strengths are, make them use their strengths against them, and also, you know, make sure that they have to adjust to the things that I do well. That way they can't fight their fight. I match up great against anybody in the division. I believe that I'm the best in the world, and if you're not in this sport believing you're the best in the world, you have no business in it. So time will tell. I'm not worried about Dillashaw. I'm not worried about Barao. I'm not worried about anybody else in the division. There's only one person to face. That's all that matters. That's Takai Mizugaki.
Canadian bantamweight Mich Gallo is mounting his own campaign at 135 pounds in hopes of fighting for a title later in his career. The Sudbury native debuted for the UFC in July of 2012 and despite a loss has gone on to win his last 3 fights and will meet Rob Font next weekend in Halifax. We spoke to Gallo about his run and balancing a winning record while also becoming a captivating personality for fans.
You know, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, you want the W. The way I fight, I think, is entertaining. Whether I think about it or not, I just fight my fight, and yeah, the stress is always there to get the W. But I think it's important as well to perform. It's an entertainment sport, and I think the UFC brass likes when you put it out there and you take those chances.
Back in April, 30-year-old Gokhan Saki became Glory's first light heavyweight champion, defeating Nathan Corbett and Tyrone Spong in the same night at Glory 15. As the organization continues to grow with a deal on Spike TV, Saki wants to be along for the ride and spoke to our Fight Network crew in Turkey about signing a new deal with Glory and standing atop their light heavyweight division.
I think it's not sure yet. Maybe October, maybe December. My contract is finished with Glory, so I'm waiting so for a new contract. But I show them enough. I win the title and let them fight, yeah, for challenging me. So whoever is coming is for me no problem.
The retirement announcement from Vanderlei Silva has led to many fighters coming out in support of Silva's criticisms of the UFC and fight promoters in general towards the athletes. One of those was noted rival Quinton Rampage Jackson, who fought Silva on 3 occasions during their career, and his support was accompanied with this photo and is our tweet of the week, with Rampage paying tribute to the 38-year-old Silva. One fighter who has softened his stance and criticisms of the UFC is Ken Shamrock. The Hall of Famer and UFC President Dana White have buried their long-standing feud, and Shamrock was in Toronto recently and spoke about his new relationship with White and trying to move forward with a more positive one.
For so long, it seemed like every time that my name was brought up or his name was brought up, first thing we do is we'd start talking, just immediately say some things that are negative. And I think it was just built into our DNA for so many years because of what we were actually going through. But we really never got a chance to one-on-one talk to one another to find out what the issues were. So, just had an opportunity when TMZ came out with this thing about this bodyguard incident, and Dana was just starting to really come unglued about, me. It really hit me then, like, what is happening here? It's like we don't even realize what we're even saying anymore. So it just, it just felt like it was time to just bury it. It was just time to, like, you know what? Let's just get past this. The MMA is growing. It's big. The fans out there deserve better, and the organization itself deserves better. And so it was just time for us to really bury that and start doing the right thing for MMA. To go to the UFC Fan Expo, and I didn't have to go in the back door and sneak in and sign autographs. It was nice that I was able to walk in the front door and be accepted, got to mingle with the fans, and it's almost like I'm a part of that family again. I know the things that I believed in and the things that I was speaking about doesn't necessarily mean that I don't still have those beliefs, but those beliefs have got to be put to the side because for me, it's more important for me to be able to have fun with the fans, be a part of the history of the UFC and MMA without having to worry and look over my shoulder whether or not bad things are going to happen because of some of the thoughts and things that I'm saying. So for me, it's just time to move ahead, time to put those things behind me and start trying to work in a positive direction and not a negative direction.
And from the world's most dangerous man to the world's most dangerous analyst, we're here with John Ramdeen, and we've got some dangerous action coming up on 3 rounds, don't we?
Of course we do. It is all about UFC 178, really an explosive fight card, one of the best fighters in the world, a return of a former champion, and 2 fights that really could deliver Fight of the Year.
It's all UFC 178 with Ramdeen and Robin Black when we return on Fight News Now. Stay tuned.